Skip the loud showroom heroes. Today, we hunt the rarest Japanese sleepers ever built. They look plain, park anywhere, then ride like a secret weapon once we roll. We pick 12 hidden gems that stay reliable, feel comfortable, and keep upkeep simple. You get seat height in inches, real miles per gallon tank range, and used prices that make sense. One pick wears normal clothes, but the first throttle twist feels shocking and silent. Let's start with comfort, then chase the uncommon. Number 12, Honda GB500 Tourist Trophy. Honda's GB500 Tourist Trophy is the quiet sleeper we notice at a diner, and only veteran riders nod back. It looks vintage and plain, yet the ride feels simple, relaxed, and confident. That 498cc single is tuned for smooth pull and reliable manners, not track drama. It also gives us electric plus kickstart and a 5-speed that feels solid and positive. Routine care stays friendly and basic, oil is quick, the carb likes patient hands, and valve checks are straightforward. The magic is community support. Owners share fixes, trade spares, and keep these bikes running for decades. We see examples with serious miles, which says a lot about Honda toughness and realistic ownership. Money-wise, clean riders usually land around $4,000 to $7,000, and spotless originals can press $9,000 to $12,000. One rider shared, "She is a fabulous machine to ride. With a top speed of 108 miles per hour, fuel range stays honest and useful with about 4 4/10 gallons. Seat height near 31 inches, and MPG about 50 to 60. On back roads, it feels plush and stable. And at cruise, the pulse stays peaceful instead of buzzy. The one sting is cosmetics, side covers, badges, and trim can be scarce, so the hunt takes patience. Still, when we find a sorted one, it feels like a secret trophy and a smooth daily escape. Love this low drama? Next up keeps the comfort, adds 2 cylinders, and stretches the range for longer. Silent miles. Like this video if you like motorcycles as much as we do. Number 11, Yamaha TDM 850. Think sit-up comfort with a sneaky sporty edge, the kind of machine that looks plain but rides alive. The 849cc twin is understressed, and it earned a tough reputation for stacking miles with care. Keep oil clean, keep coolant fresh, and the motor stays reliable in the way older Yamahas usually do. It is a 5-speed chain drive layout, simple to live with, and it still feels swift through sweepers when we push. The posture is upright and natural, so wrists stay quiet and knees feel better when the day turns lengthy. In Yamaha circles, part support is friendly, and most wear items are familiar, not unicorn stuff. On used pricing, rough but running imports often sit around $2,000 to $3,000, while clean, documented bikes land $4,000 to $6,000. You get real-world economy around the high 30s to mid-40s miles per gallon, depending on jets and your right wrist. Tank capacity is about 5.3 gallons, and that gives 200-mile legs without stress. Seat height is near 31.3 inches, tallish for some, but the narrow midsection helps the footing feel secure. The one caution is that setup, tired suspension, and old tires can make it feel wandery, so a refresh brings back stable confidence. Love this daily ease? The next pick keeps the comfy vibe, but adds classic looks and a plush Big 4 heartbeat. If simple classics and smart value matter, hit like and tell us your most relaxed backroad memory today. Number 10, Kawasaki Zephyr 1100. Retro lines, quiet swagger, and that big standard stance make this one feel like a secret handshake at bike night. Under the paint sits an air-cooled 1062cc4 that pulls smooth and strong without begging for revs. Owners love the honest layout, carbs you can understand, a frame that feels stable, and maintenance that stays simple with regular attention. Parts and knowledge are everywhere in the classic crowd, so keeping it running is rarely a panic job. Riders also rate the ergos, the bar is natural, the seat is broad, and the vibe is peaceful at cruise, not buzzy. In today's market, usable riders usually land $6,000 to $9,000, and clean originals with stock pipes can press $12,000. Fuel economy typically lives in the mid-30s to low 40s miles per gallon if the carbs are synced and the airbox is intact. One rider said, "Lovely bike. Very well put together, reliable, and easy to look after." Tank size is about 5 gallons, enough for solid 200-mile stints when we ride sane. Seat height sits around 31.3 inches, so most riders feel secure at stops. The trade-off is age. Neglected suspension can feel wallowy, and dirty carbs can turn starts into frustrating drama. Fresh fork oil, correct springs, and a tune bring back that plush, planted feel. Want a bike that hides even harder behind bodywork with sport tour shove and less wrist strain? The next pick does that trick. Number 9, Suzuki RF900R. Most folks stare at the fairing and still guess wrong, and that anonymity is the whole sleeper magic. The 937cc inline 4 has real pull, and it feels smooth and stable when we hold speed. Serviced on time, these engines earn a tough reputation, and Suzuki Parts Crossover keeps fixes practical instead of painful. The cockpit is kinder than a hard supersport, so shoulders stay relaxed and wrists feel better on long stretches. It is also fast enough to feel lively, yet calm enough to feel grown-up, which is the sweet spot for our crowd. Price-wise, decent runners often sit around $2,000 to $3,000, while clean, unmodified bikes can reach $4,000 to $6,000. Fuel economy usually lands in the mid-30s to low 40s miles per gallon, and clean carbs keep it consistent. Tank capacity is about 5.55 gallons for range. That usually means 200 miles per tank. Simple. Seat height is roughly 31.7 inches, giving a neutral perch without a tall climb. The downside is weight at walking speed. It can feel heavier than expected, and neglected carbs turn into frustrating drama. Sort the basics, and it rewards you with planted manners and quiet confidence. Next up is a big Honda that stays even more civil in the cockpit, with an engine feel that just keeps going. If this list saves your wallet from a regret bike, tap like, hit subscribe, and tell us your hidden gem. Number 8. Honda CB1000 Super 4 Big One. From across the lot, it looks like a standard, and that is why the sleeper trick lands fierce. Twist the grip, and the 1000cc 4 comes on smooth, with steady torque that feels confident, not frantic. Owners lean on these for reliable miles because the engine does not feel stressed in normal riding. Routine work is familiar Honda stuff, and the community keeps parts info clear to find. The cockpit is roomy, bars are natural, and the seat feels comfy for distance, not just coffee runs. On price, solid riders usually land $4,000 to $7,000, while clean stock bikes can climb to 9 or 10. Engine size is 998 cubic centimeters, and typical economy sits in the low 30s to high 30s miles per gallon. Exhaust sound of Honda CB1000 Super 4 Big One. Fuel capacity is about 5.8 gallons for long legs. 5.8 gallons plus sane throttle can mean 200-mile days before we think about fuel. Seat height is about 31.1 inches, keeping stops secure for most. The knock is age. Untouched suspension can feel tired and a little floaty when corners get rapid. Fresh springs and shocks bring back stable control, and the bike turns into a partner that just works. If this feels too normal, the next pick gets rare and weird in the best way, with a front end nobody expects. Number 7. Yamaha GTS 1000. Braking into a corner feels oddly stable and surprisingly smooth on this rare sport tour experiment. That forkless, rad-style front end keeps the chassis level and confident when we squeeze the lever hard. Built from 1993 to 1999, it stayed undercover because it looked normal. It was Yamaha's technical flagship, but the price and weight felt heavier than buyers wanted. Dealers rarely stocked them, and magazines called it complex, so it missed the normal crowd. Most riders saw the odd hardware, then walked on, which is how it became scarce and collectible. Underneath, the 1002cc inline 4 is understressed, and it runs reliably with consistent service. Fuel injection starts clean, and shaft drive keeps things simple when we just want to ride. Oil, coolant, and sane checks keep ownership practical, and the fit stays comfortable for grown-up backs. Survivors usually land $5,000 to $8,000, a smart deal, while cleaner records can reach 10 to 12. Seat height sits about 31.1 inches, so stops feel secure and steadier. Tank capacity is about 5.3 gallons, giving 200-mile legs with honest, useful planning. The catch is parts and specialist knowledge. Some bits are niche, so repairs can take patient hunting. If this feels too techy, the next bike is opposite energy. More brutal shove, still relaxed at speed. Tap like and comment. What is the rarest bike you have ever seen in the wild, parked or rolling, anywhere? Number 6. Kawasaki ZZR1200. Long highway days turn silent and simple on a big sport tour that hides speed behind grown-up manners. This is a cruise missile. The 1164cc 4 pulls strong without feeling stressed. It loves steady RPM, and the long wheelbase stays stable when crosswinds slap us on open interstates. The fairing throws a quieter pocket, so helmets feel calmer and shoulders stay relaxed for hours. The seat is broad, and wrists stay neutral often. Owners stick with them because upkeep is practical, parts are available, and most jobs feel doable at home. Fresh fluids? Good tires and a suspension refresh can make an older bike feel modern and composed again. Pricing stays smart for the performance. Good riders often run $3,000 to $5,000. Clean low-mile examples with records can reach $6,000 to $8,000 because demand stays quiet but solid. Top speed of Kawasaki ZZR1200. Expect real-world economy around 35 to 40 miles per gallon when we ride relaxed, not harsh. Tank capacity sits about 6 gallons, and range feels useful when fuel stops are far apart. Seat height lies around 31 inches, so most riders can plant a boot and feel secure. The light negative is warmth and heft in parking lots, so slow moves need careful attention. If you want something rarer and more classic, the next pick flips to Japan-only style with a big shove. Number 5. Suzuki GS 1200 SS. Retro clothes, modern attitude, and a motor that hits harder than the look ever suggests. This short-run Japan-only oddball hides a 1,156cc air and oil-cooled 4. Think bandit roots with sharper style, so torque feels strong and roll-on stays smooth in real traffic. Reliability is solid when fluids are regular, and the engine is a durable design in Suzuki circles. The riding triangle is friendly. Bars are higher than a pure sport bike, and comfort stays honest. It will tour without wrist pain, yet it still snaps forward with a confident pull when we ask. Fresh pads bring stronger bite, and the chassis stays stable through sweepers. Imports set the market. Rough runners can sit $4,000 to $6,000 if cosmetics are tired. Clean, correct bikes with tidy bodywork often land $7,000 to $10,000 because supply is scarce. Fuel economy is usually in the mid-30s miles per gallon, and it rewards a steady throttle. Tank size is about 4.5 gallons, so range is decent but not endless. Seat height is about 31 inches, and the bike feels secure once we get moving. The sting is parts hunting. Unique panels and trim can be scarce, so buyers must shop smarter. Want more nostalgia and a V4 punch that still feels wilder? The next bike brings poster-era energy. Number 4. Honda VF1000R. Back in the mid-80s, Honda built a V4 that felt serious and sounds absolutely electric. This sleeper carries old-school muscle. The 998cc V4 is torquey and reliable when cared for. It was made to run hard for stretches, and the frame feels stable when speed picks up. Owners lean on a detailed knowledge base, so questions get answers and fixes stay practical. Keep the cooling healthy, keep the charging strong, and carb balance stays consistent for a clean pull. Treat it right, and it returns that classic V4 shove without modern gadgets or fragile sensors. Once rolling, it feels planted and comfortable, and the fairing gives wind cover. At bike night, most folks miss it until it roars and shocks. Rider-grade examples today usually sit $6,000 to $10,000, still depending on plastics and service history. Clean, stock originals with correct panels can press 12 to 18 because the look is iconic. Expect miles per gallon in the low 30s, with a tank around 6 gallons for decent legs. Seat height sits near 31 inches, and the cockpit feels longer than it looks in photos. The light negative is age. Some parts hunts take patience, and neglected bikes turn expensive quickly. If you want the long-haul theme with more range and a relaxed travel posture, the next pick goes adventure and keeps rolling. Number 3. Yamaha TZR1200 Super Tenere. Built for dustier miles and rougher roads, this Dakar blood twin feels stable, trusted, and comfortable once we roll. The 749cc parallel twin is plain yet reliable, and it likes steady throttle more than drama. Owners keep them alive with simple basics, oil, valves, and carbs, and the community shares fixes, settings, and part swaps. Used keepers with honest paint usually land $3,000 to $6,000, while sorted examples with records can press 8 or even 10. Fuel range is the whole point. The tank is about 6.6 gallons, and honest cruising often sits around low 30s to about 40 miles per gallon. Seat height is about 34.1 inches, so stops can feel taller, but moving speed turns it peaceful. Add a wide bar and a calmer screen, and the ride gets quieter, sturdier, and less fatiguing on long days. The only real complaint is a secure, confident footing at a standstill. So tires, springs, and bar setup matter. If you love this rugged rhythm, the next pick trades range for lighter weight and a minimal racer vibe that feels special. If your knees prefer comfort over clutch pain, tap like. We're saving you from regrets and wallet burns today. Again. Number 2. Suzuki Goose 350. Think club racer attitude. In a tiny package, this little single feels lighter, sharper, and premium on back roads. Production ran from 1991 to 1999, and outside Japan, it remains uncommon, so most riders blink and move on. The 348cc oil-cooled single spins eager yet reliable, and it rewards clean jetting and steady oil changes. Because it is simple, owners keep them running with common wear parts, and forums trade sources and workarounds fast. Import pricing depends on paperwork. Rough projects can show up around $2,000 to $4,000, while clean examples can hit $6,000 to $9,000. Seat height sits about 33 inches. Tank is about 4 gallons, and economy can live in the mid-40s to mid-50s miles per gallon. It turns in quicker than it looks, and the narrow feel makes parking lot moves less stressful than bigger classics. Comfort is not the mission. Wind protection is thin, and longer highway stints feel tiring, so we treat it like a weekend weapon. Want the sleeper twist turned to 11 with 80s tech and boost that feels unreal? Our final bike brings turbo madness. Drop a comment. What's the rarest bike you've seen? Then hit like and subscribe. We'll keep the list coming often. Number 1. Honda CX650 Turbo. Hidden under a normal shape, this factory turbo Honda feels serious, surprising, and downright electric in it when Boost wakes up. It is scarce for a reason. Only 1,777 were built, and collectors still turn heads with that historic glow. The 674cc V-twin is liquid-cooled and shaft-driven, so ownership can stay reliable when maintenance is kept clean. Find a neglected one and it gets expensive, even brutal. But assorted documented bike rides like a time capsule, that still works. Projects usually sit $5,000 to $8,000, while clean runners often bring $10,000 to $15,000. And museum-grade examples can climb beyond that. Seat height is about 31.1 inches. Tank is about 5.3 gallons. And mileage tends to land in the mid-40s miles per gallon. The boost hit is not scary. It is controlled, but it feels stronger every time the needle sweeps and the intake starts whistling. Parts are the catch, turbo bits and sensors are niche, so we lean on specialist help and buy the best history we can. That said, nothing else hides this much technical daring behind such plain looks, and that is why sleepers still matter for real riders. Click the next video right now, keep the ride going, and catch another rare sleeper list we built for real riders. Then hit subscribe so you never miss the next smart buy and the next reliable hidden gem. What is the rarest bike you have ever seen in the wild, and did it look plain or legend?